Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you today about getting started in welding with gas. I'm hoping that this will help others that have been a little afraid to go from flux core to solid core using gas. So let's get started. So this is my current setup. This is a Lincoln weld pack. I'm not even sure if I know what the amperage is, but this is what I've been using and it's been really decent. It does make kind of splattery welds that I have to do a lot of cleanup on, and the gas welder is supposed to do some better welds. But I've been using this. I've done a lot of projects with it. I built a tailgate from scratch for one of my trailers, and I changed the latches on another trailer using this, and you know, it doesn't do a horrible job, but I think I'm ready to upgrade. And so here's what I'm upgrading to. I just went to Harbor Freight and I bought this titanium 170, and I haven't even pulled it out of the box. We're going to unbox it in this video, but I just want to let you know why I picked this one. I picked this one because the price was reasonable for what it is. It's a 110 240 outlet. You can use one or the other. Of course, you want to weld bigger metal, you use the 240. If you want to use it like this welder, you use the 110. And it's nice because it's portable, it's lightweight, and also I can buy a spool gun and weld aluminum with it, although I've never done that before. So other than just little projects around the house, I'm not a welder. Like, you'll soon find out that my welds aren't professional or anything, but I'm just starting out. But I just decided it's time to upgrade. So I got this bottle, this gas to go with it, and this is 75% argon and 25% carbon dioxide, and this is use shielding gas to make your welds cleaner and nicer. And so I'm pretty excited about that. But I want to talk about this bottle for a minute, because I didn't know anything about how to get a gas bottle. So I want to kind of talk about that a little bit in this video. But before I talk about it, I have this cart, and this cart is also a Harbor Freight cart. It's fairly cheap, but the front, as you can see, is on casters and it will move side to side. But the back just has static wheels, and I have some casters hanging around the garage right here. So I'm going to remove these wheels so that the back will come around, so that I can move the cart better. And I want to do some cool things to the cart. It's pretty neat. It's a cheap little cart, but it has its advantages. It has two nice little spots to put things, and I found a little bin that will hold things for me, which makes it like a drawer. So let me get started and put those casters on and see if this is an actual upgrade to this cart. Alright guys, look at this. I took those wheels off and I put these casters on, and they move everywhere. So watch this. Now it moves sideways, forward, backwards, sideways. Whereas before it was all, the rear didn't move. It was really hard to move the cart. This is much better, I think. So, alright, now that that's done, this cart is horribly dirty. So I'm going to run out back and wash it real quick, and then we'll get to unboxing the titanium 170. Be right back. Alright, let's open up the box. Let's see what we get. See what we get for our money. All right. So far, so good. All right off the bat, we have the manual. And let me put my knife away. We have the new wheel for the solid core, the regulator for the gas, I guess this is the knob for the regulator. So let's go beyond that and get to the fun stuff. Alright, box of goodies, we'll dive into that. Ground clamp and cable hose. 240 adapter. And the welder. It's pretty light. I think it's lighter than my other little one. Alright, it's on my stand. Just gotta figure out how to get the plastic off. Here's the gas hose, and the ground clamp is what's in here. Let's get this plastic off. Tied the plastic in a nice little knot. Here's the 240 plug. And I put this on backwards. This is the back. It's where the gas goes, on-off switch, and the 120/240 switch. So that's probably good. So I'll pick this up and pull the plastic off and show you the front. Alright, look at that. Let's see what else. Let's see what's in here. So we got the torch. And a couple of ends for, I think this is for the flux core. So, but it doesn't look like it came with any, welding wire. So, and I don't have any solid core, so I'm going to have to go out and buy some to keep going. But it's pretty cool. I like up here. Let's move this up. See if you can see that. It has a nice legend on what size metal you have, so you can see what size you have, and then if it's 110 or 240, and it tells you how to set your dials. That's pretty great. Let's get the bottle on. We'll pick the bottle up and we'll get it standing straight up and down as tight as we can and hook the chain up. Let's see how that looks. Can you see that? Let's see. Oop. Alright, so the stand is really nice. It has little holes for you to feed the chain through. And it looks like we're going to do a lot better if we just do it on the top. So we'll feed some chain in there. And then once you get it tight, that'll hold the chain, and then there's another one, it'll hold the bottle, and there's another one down here. So I'll do the same thing and feed the chain through both sides. Alright, our bottle's in. Alright, here's the legend. Should tell us how to set up the polarity. And I'm probably gonna have to read the manual to figure that out. Here's where the spool goes. We're gonna feed it through here, and as soon as I get my wire, I will show you how that goes. And then here's the gas bottle. So let's just talk about how much all this cost. The welder itself, it wasn't on sale, but it was pretty reasonable. It's a 170 with a 110 240 electrical outlet, and it was $549. And the bottle, so this is where the mystery comes in. So I don't know where you are. I googled it and everybody was saying go to Airgas, but here in Arizona, Airgas was twice as expensive than Phoenix Welding Supply. So at Phoenix Welding Supply, this bottle is a 55 cubic foot, and you have to buy the bottle, and then once it's empty, you go give it back to them and they swap it out for another one. So the bottle was $2.99 plus $41 to fill it. So I found that some Tractor Supply sells argon, but when I went there, the one that I went to didn't. So I was out of luck, but as it turns out, they sell it for $200 filled, but it's like a 20 cubic foot, and this is a 60 cubic foot, which I'm a little disappointed at looking at it now, how small it is. But honestly, I've never used gas before, so I don't know how quickly I'm going to go through it. But if I go through it quickly, I'm probably going to upgrade to an 80. The bummer is if I buy the 80 from Phoenix, then they charge like twice as much. So they told me that to fill this is like $41, and I think it's $60 to fill an 80. At Airgas, they wanted twice as much for their bottles, and they didn't worry about the age of the bottle, and they said that they will take any bottle, but they charge so many extra fees and everything to fill like this 60. It's like $110 to have it filled at Airgas. So the bottle was twice as much, and the filling it was more than twice as much. So I recommend going to Phoenix Welding Supply. It was more reasonable, but I still think it was pretty expensive. He did tell me though that you could buy a used bottle and then go trade it in. So if you found one cheaper, then you're good to go. But the problem with it is they only last for 5 years before they can be recertified. So you have to be real careful if you buy a used one to make sure that the age is right. If it is, if it's fine, then they'll replace it, and like say if it goes out of certification while they have it, then they will recertify it and you're good to go. But I was kind of worried my first shot, like just buying a used bottle and then finding out that it wasn't usable. So if I find that I go through gas too fast with this one, then I will probably go look for a used 80 and see how that goes, if I can get a good deal on it. So here's the initial. I'm on a Harbor Freight cart that I got pretty cheap. Oh yeah, and I wanted to show you again, with all this stuff on it, it rolls around sideways and better, and it's nicer to move things around. So I'm pretty excited to get going. I'm gonna set this up. So just to let you know, I'm gonna take the wrapper off and the hose goes right here. Or no, I'm sorry, the regulator goes right here, then the hose will go in the regulator, and then the hose will go into here for the gas. And then you use solid core, not flux core. And then we'll put that in, and we'll see if this thing can weld. But I have to go get some welding spool because it didn't come with any. So I hope that helps. I just want to reiterate the gas, because that's really the mystery of this whole thing was where to get gas. And also, this could use flux core where you didn't need gas, but honestly, if you're gonna flux core weld, I would get a cheaper welder. You know, like this Lincoln weld pack. Let's see, this Lincoln weld pack here. It has been awesome. Like I welded projects like, let me show you. Let's just come out here. Like I did small welds, like this latch right here. I welded it up just fine, and I also welded up some more spots on this expanded metal, and it did fine for doing that. But I want to do some bigger projects, so I went for the new welder. But that said, if you're just gonna do small little projects, I wouldn't spend money on a gas bottle and a welder. I mean, it definitely is gonna weld nicer welds and there's less cleanup. But in small projects, a wire wheel or a grinding wheel on a grinder will clean up your welds and look real nice, especially a little paint on it. There's nothing to shake a stick at. So I just want to take the mystery out of the gas. Like here in Arizona, especially in the Chandler area, I like Phoenix welding supply for my gas. And the air gas, they were nice. I don't have anything bad to say, but like I said, they were more than double the price for the bottle, more than double the price for the gas, just to let you know. And when I Google like where to get gas, they say air gas or gas air or whatever it is, like all over. So maybe it's different in other regions. So still, you may want to check that out if you're gonna do this, and see if it's a better deal. It just doesn't seem to be here. And I don't want to say anything bad about them. Like they were super nice. They gave me all the information. It just was so much cheaper at Phoenix Welding Supply. So I'll probably go there. All right, we're gonna start in the back here and hook up the gas. So when you get the new bottle, it's gonna come with plastic over it. And then we need to purge the system. And from what I've gathered and what I read the manual, you just crack open the valve and that purges it. Okay, now it's time for the gauges. So since it has the beveled end, we don't need any kind of thread tape or anything. So we'll just throw that on there loose or hand tight. We'll kind of move that around, and then we'll hook up the gas line. So it's kind of dark. I hope this turns out okay. It's been 100 degrees here in Arizona, so I kind of waited for the temperature to come out, and waited for the temperature to go down, and to come out in the garage and do this. So here's the hose. I hope it's not too dark to see. It's got a little cap. I just pulled the little cap off, and we're just gonna put the hose on finger tight. All right, we're gonna tighten it up. I just want to get it kind of where I want to put it. So make sure you start it with your fingers first, and then we'll come back with a couple wrenches. And the same thing, we're just going to kind of start this, get it in a few threads, or finger tight. Alright, so we're going to have to tighten this up, and this up, and I will do that off camera so you don't have to, so I won't bore you with that. And then we'll move on to inside. We'll just lift up the latch. Alright guys, now we're going to choose what wheel to use to run the wire through. So here's where the spool's going to go. It's going to feed through here, and then pull this down, and here's the roller that pushes it, and it pushes against this wheel here. And I wanted to say that this manual is pretty good. So in the manual, right here, it talks about which wheel to use. It comes with 2 wheels. So the wheels depend on the size of wire you're going to use. And I think I'm going to use an 030 solid core. If you use gas, it's solid core. If you don't use gas, then it's flux core. If you use flux core, then there's only one that runs the flux core. The flux core you can get in 30 or 35, but it kind of has a, I don't think you're gonna be able to see it here, but it has kind of a knurl on it. But and again, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. I'm gonna try and show it to you, just in case. Focus. But on the face of it, it tells you like 030 or 035, and also in the manual, it tells you which wheel. So the manual does a good job. So I'm gonna pull mine off. It's just this little black knob right here. You're just gonna pull that knob off. And then once you pull the knob off, this wheel comes out. And there's the wheel. Again, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not, but it looks like mine is set up for 30 already, which is perfect. That's what I want. So you want to use the 30 wire for smaller projects and 35 for bigger projects. And bigger, I'm talking like 1/4-inch metal to 1/2-inch metal, I think. So we're just gonna put it back on. Doesn't need to be super tight. And then the spare wheel comes in a little baggie, and we'll just keep that with the other stuff. And I'm going to get my wire tomorrow, so we're not going to string it today, but I will definitely follow up with how to put the wire in. So we'll just put this back down for now. And also the manual, there's numbers right here. I don't know if you can see those, but once you put this all back together, you tighten this, and the manual tells you how tight to get it for what type of wire you use. If you use a flux core, the flux is in the middle of the wire, so if you get it too tight, you could squish it and damage it. So you kind of want to pay attention to that. So let's get to the front. This is where your ground wire goes, and you're going to have a different polarity. So this is the neutral to the machine, and depending on if you're going to use gas or not is depending on where this goes. So I believe, I want to look in the manual real quick because I know the manual talks about it. So let me see if I can get a picture real quick. It's right here. It's on the same page as the wheel, actually. So this says for gas. So if you see, let's see if you can see that. for gas, the ground is going to go into the positive and the neutral is going to go into the negative. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. This one's negative on the machine, but your ground is going to go to that according to this for gas. That's how I'm going to set it up. Now, if you were going to set it up without the gas and use flux core, you would change that polarity and do it different. The manual actually talks about it. So you just plug this in like a light bulb. You push it in and turn it, and then you're locked in. Alright, and then the ground wire will go right here, which I have. Wow, this ground wire is solid. It's heavy. It's really heavy compared to my other one. So it's gonna go in like a light bulb, push it in, and turn it all the way to the right. And then for now, we're just gonna hang it on this little rack right there. And probably not the best grounding clamp ever, but until it breaks, I'm going to use it. Alright, let's hook up the torch. Here's the fun part. So here's the torch. It comes taped up. Not terribly awesome compared to my Lincoln, but I think it'll do. And then the other end that goes in the machine, it has two ends. It has a din, and then it has the part that goes in there. And it's going to go right in there. I'm not quite sure how that works. Let's see. It looks like it just... Yeah, it looks like it's just going to plug right in there. So let's give it a shot. Alright, I figured it out. I hope you can see that. I think it's bright enough. Let me see. Yeah, so when I was putting it in, I was getting it caught on this wing nut bolt. So I had to loosen this up all the way and then push the torch in with one hand, and then once I got it all the way in, tighten this wing nut up and it holds it in there. So I couldn't find it in the manual, so I just wanted to see that because it wasn't really straightforward. So we're almost there. Now the only thing left is the din. Let's see if you can see that right there. And then on the side of the torch, it has this little din plug. And we'll just put it right in here. And then screw that on. Okay, that's on. It looks all set up. We got the torch there. The next step is to feed the wire through it, and I don't have any wire. So I just wanted to take a second and show you that this doesn't actually screw on. It's an actual quick disconnect. So you pull it, you pull the end and then pull it out, and then the same thing, you put it in there and then you pull back on that, which I can't do. Well, I guess I can with one hand until it snaps into place. So it's not a screw in like I thought, which I felt really weird about it. So I just wanted to show you that. Alright guys, finally got my welding wire and my tips, and we're going to plug this thing in. And how this works is kind of cool, is that it comes with this cord that's like a dryer plug that's 240, and then the other end is 110. But on the end of the welder, it has a 240 plug. So you plug your welder into this, plug this into the wall for 110, and then there's a switch on the back, which is right here, and you tell it if you're going to use 120 or 240. You see that right there? So let's plug this thing in. Alright, we're plugged in. I hope this is bright enough to see. I got the lights on in here, but The neighbors are doing some construction next door, so they're kind of noisy, so I got the door shut. So it looks like we can see this. So I want to iterate something really quickly. We're going to put the wire in now, and when we're going to put the wire in here, it's going to feed through here, and we're going to have to hit the gun to make it go through. We're going to straighten out this hose, and then let's take this off. So we're going to straighten out this hose. We're going to take the end off, and then we're going to run it through. But while we do this, we want to make sure the gas is off, because there's no need, because when you pull the trigger to weld, it's going to shoot gas through, and there's no need to shoot gas while you're feeding line through. So to save gas, we're going to keep the gas turned off. All right, to start with, we've unrolled out the wire, or the hose for the torch. Sorry, it's so shaky. And here's the torch. So I'm going to pull this cap off. It just pulls off like so, and then we're going to take the tip, which happens to be an 030, which is the same as our wire, and we're going to unscrew that, take it off, and then we're going to put the wire in. So to put the wire in, we're going to take this wing nut off. Man, I wish I had some better light. Hold on. Okay. So we're going to take this off. We're going to take this off. Then the wire is, can you see that? So the wire's is kind of bent and plugged into the plastic to hold it, and you have to hold it so it doesn't unspool. You want to keep that tight. And we want it to spool from the bottom, so we're going to put this on backwards, like so. And then washer, wrong washer, washer. Oh, the washer has a little key in it. Washer, spring, and then see the washer has a little, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has a little keyway in it, and the keyway has to match up. And then the wing nut, and then we're just going to get that pretty tight for now, so it doesn't uncoil. What we want to do is we want to cut Alright guys, finally got the welder set up and ready to go. We got the gas. We're going to turn the gas on. We're going to open this up all the way, and then we're going to turn our gas on. I hear different schools of thought, but people were saying 18, some people were saying 25, so we're just going to go 20 and see how that goes. It kind of seemed like it was going to be a preference thing, but we'll see how that goes. Also, I don't have a 240 hooked up, so we're going to do 120. That switch is back here. Make sure it's on. Here's the on-off switch, but we're not ready yet. Here's what we're welding. We have two pieces of flat stock, and I have them clamped down. I'm going to weld right here, and it says that it is 1/8 thickness. So we'll check the welder and see what that says. It's got a nice little legend here, and it tells you material thickness for 120, material thickness for 240, and we have 1/8, and we're going to use 30 3/0 wire. And so we'll go over to the 1/8, and it looks like wire speed's going to be 275. Voltage is going to be 19. And inductance is going to be 3 to 10. So we're just going to go over here. We'll turn it on real quick. Looks like it's booting up. And inductance was 3 to 10, so we're just going to put it on 5. And what were the other numbers? 275. It's kind of like your soldering gun. All right, 275. And then the last number was 19. All right, 19, we're all set up. Let's see how this thing welds. This is the first bead that I'm ever going to weld with or the first bead that I've ever welded with a gas welder. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, here's my first weld ever, my first bead with a gas welder. Wish me luck. Holy moly. That is fast. That is way faster than my other welder. And it looks like a nice bead. Although, let's see how much I went through. How much penetration. It's stuck together, that's good. It looks like it penetrated. It looks like the penetration's pretty good. Ooh, still hot. Probably shouldn't touch it. But, man, I am really impressed with that. I haven't, that's the first time I ever gas welded, and it's pretty good. Well, there you have it. That's how you start out welding with the gas welder. I'll tell you what, that was much easier than flux welding. And this is the first one I've ever done, and it already looks like a gazillion times better than I ever did with my flux. So, all right, so it's time to turn it off. So go back. The on-off switch is in the back. Crazy. Let's switch it off, and then we don't want to forget to shut the gas off. So we'll shut the gas off, and then we will We'll turn this out. I don't even know if we have to, but I'll just do that for now. And then the gauges are still up, so we do got to turn it back on. Oops. Gauges. Turn it back on. And then we'll just do a quick hit of the trigger to release the gas. Now we'll shut it off. So I hope this video helped you out if you were going from a flux core welder to a gas welder. My gosh, I mean that's I know that's a lot of weld, and it's probably way too hot, and I should probably work with the adjustments. But for the first time ever welding, like, there's no splatter. Like, the gas welding, that's where it's at. I'm telling you. Like, I can definitely hone that in better, but that's the first time I've ever welded with a gas welder, and I'm pretty impressed with myself, as you can tell. So I want to do some welding projects, and I want to hone that in a little bit. But for the first time, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, it's no roll of dimes, but I'm pretty happy with that. So, anyways, I hope I help people out that are thinking about going flux core to gas. It wasn't that bad. The hardest part was figuring out where you're going to get the gas and then buying the bottle outright. But filling it, I think they said, was going to be like $40. I don't know how long it's going to last. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video and let you know when it comes time to fill it if people are interested. But so far, it's I'm pretty impressed with this little welder, little MiG 170 from Harbor Freight. So hopefully, I'm gonna do some big projects, and maybe I'll do some more films so you can check it out. Also, this welding table, amazing. It didn't come with these wheels, and I will put a description in a prescription. I'll put a link in the description on what wheels I got, but it's nice because it actually lifted the bench up a couple inches, gave it a little lift kit. It rolls around, and all four of the wheels have a brake on it, which is super nice. This table, I'll put a link there too. And man, I love this table. I'm going to use this table probably for a lot more than just welding. So it actually came with these clamps, came with more clamps, and here's the feet. Oh, more clamps here, some that even hold tubes, and here's the feet that came with the table. So that I use these wheels instead, and the wheels screw right in where those feet did. I didn't have to tap anything, so you can see they just screw in the bottom there. So I'm going to do some more mods to this table, I think, but it's great. I'm really impressed with this table. So I think that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for joining me in the garage, and hopefully you will check out my other videos. And I know it's funny, I'm welding around all these gas cans, but these gas cans have just been sitting here. They're completely empty. There's nothing in them. Not that crazy. So thanks for watching. Do something wonderful, and we'll catch you on the next one.